Number 16, Emma Humpton. Number 17, Chloe Pierce. Number 18, Katie McGuire. Number 19, Brittany Hogan. Number 20, Eva Whitaker. Number 21, Amy Riley. Number 22, Enya Green.
Welcome to round 3 of the TikTok Women's Six Nations Championship. We bring the curtain down on the weekend's action with the meeting of Ireland and Italy live from Musgrave Park in Cork. And here we have two sides in need of a morale-boosting result today after defeats in the opening 2 rounds. For Ireland, under new management, losses to Wales and away to France. Italy opening with the 2 toughest fixtures, France and England, and how they have emerged from that bruising game against the English will tell us a lot as they go in search of a first ever away Six Nations win on Ireland's soil. Well, 2 games already played in round 3. Yes, England would too much for what's been a resurgent Wales when they met at Kingsholm. Simon Middleton's Chargers 58-5 victors. And earlier today, France doing the damage in the first half as they powered past Scotland in Glasgow. And those results have left the TikTok Six Nations Women's Championship table looking as such. Already you can see we're heading towards that crunch final weekend showdown when England go to Bayonne. At the other end, Italy, Ireland, Scotland fighting a different battle. Well, in terms of the Six Nations head-to-head, well, it's very much stacked in Ireland's favour. Italy struggling for victories. And certainly when you transfer that to games in Irish soil, it is very much all Ireland. Italy, as we mentioned, still seeking their first victory. They've come close on a couple of occasions at the last game, so Ireland win it by 20 points a year ago. Well, for the Italians, it's not been a straightforward build-up. There was a team named 2 days ago, but then COVID struck, denying them 4 players. So Andrea Di Giandomenico has had that to deal with. Niamh Briggs, you can see right of picture, part of the Ireland coaching staff now, and a big role to play as Ireland go in search of their first victory this year. Well, a big factor in speaking to Niamh Briggs earlier is the weather conditions. Temperature in and around 9 degrees, but it's the wind that these players will have to deal with. It is strong, it is blustery, blowing down into one corner at the moment. But how will that affect the respective kicking games and even the line-out throws? We'll wait and see. And on an historic day this, as Musgrave Park in Cork hosts its first ever Ireland Women's International Test match. Hoping for in the region of 6,000. Those that are in have been building this atmosphere nicely. Young and old, and this Ireland women's team continue to be well supported. One game in against Scotland up in Belfast at Kingspan Stadium as Ireland take their games around the country today. Well, the Six Nations split already apparent. Holders England looking the fearsome force we expected they would be. France clearing a path towards that showdown with the English on match day 5 in Bayonne. For the rest, it's the battle to be best of the rest. And for Ireland and Italy, both pointless, in need of a real pick-me-up today. The Italians might well feel their tournament in essence starts here after that round 1 loss in Grenoble was followed by last weekend's pummelling at the hands of the English. The 2 toughest games in the calendar are now put behind them. So what can Andrea Di Giandomenico's side produce over their remaining games, starting here in Cork today against Ireland? The home fans expectant, awaiting the arrival of their team. And the Italians, for the moment, kept waiting on a chilly and blustery afternoon in Cork. But now the music cranks up, signalling the arrival of the Ireland team, soon to be led out by their captain, Nicola Friday. Well, despite positives in the performance, the opening RDS loss to Wales set the new regime off on the back foot round 2. Hard to lay a glove on France in Toulouse. But there is a feeling that maybe today is the day. Pressure existing not just at the top of the standings, England and France, but today very much a big one at the opposite end as well. Ahead of the action today, once again, we send out the message: racism not acceptable in rugby, in sport, or in the world we live in. an equal game for all.
In the world we live in. Thank you for your support and make sure that rugby really is for everybody.
And also, in very, very difficult times, the rugby world stands in solidarity with Ukraine.
And its people. We strongly condemn the invasion and our thoughts are with those affected by this crisis.
We are just about set to go. Firstly, we'll take the anthems. Rousing reception for the Ireland anthem in Cork. Can this be a venue that will serve to inspire? Well, after going with an unchanged starting 15 last out in France, Greg McWilliams this week makes 4 changes in the pack. Christy Haney handed her first test start, having made her debut off the bench in Toulouse. There's also an alteration in the back row. Hannah O'Connor comes in at number 8. In the back, Sabine Riley makes way for Catherine Dane at scrum half, and there's a first start to the campaign for Bevan Parsons. She replaces Emer Considine in a move that sees Lucy Mulhall switch from the wing to full-back, a backline now brimming with that Sevens running threat. Italy, well, they have a handful of changes from that heavy home loss to England. In the pack, Valerie Federighi comes into the second row, and Beatrice Veronese starts at blindside. Hooker Melissa Bettoni, perhaps one to watch, having scored tries against Ireland in 2020 and 2021. Scrum half Sarah Baratin is restored to the starting side to extend her national record to 104 caps. A blow, the absence of Michaela Solari, but captain Manuela Furlan returns on Thursday. She was named fullback, but the updated team announced yesterday puts her on the wing. The Ireland bench includes Aoife Wafer, set to make her debut, and the returning Aoife Doyle. Italy with 7 of their 8 replacements with 5 caps or less. Long-serving scrum half Sofia Stefan, the exception. Fiona Coughlin's alongside me. Fiona, there is plenty on this for both teams here. We know the Italians have had a disrupted week in terms of players missing out now with COVID, and we've got the weather conditions as well to deal with. Normally you might say it's a tuck it up the jumper type of day, but it's not really how these two teams want to play.
No, I think particularly in the first game against France, we saw how Italy liked to play. They kept the ball alive. They were unfortunate enough to score a try, and Greg McWilliams has spoken a lot about the high tempo game that Ireland want to play, and the need to feed the speed out in the wider channels, and how exciting the Irish backline can be if they get the ball to them. Set piece is going to be huge today, and that wind could play a part.
Our referee is Aurélie Groselou, and it will be Nicole Cronin to get this one underway. Well, which of these two sides will settle the quicker? Immediately Cronin looking to keep the Italians guessing with a kick to that far side. Sarah Baratin back in at scrum half, all the experience in the world, and in particular that Italian backline. So many caps to count on. Here is Madia into midfield. Rigoni keeps it moving. Dinka, one of the late call-ups, back into the starting 15. And the Italians already, no suggestion yet of putting boot to ball. Looking to gain some ground. Madia again, and they're showing some ambition here in the early stages. When you consider England ran in almost a point a minute against them in a record-breaking defeat for the Italians in Parma last week. A lot to work on in terms of tactical play and being in possession and out of possession, but in terms of the mental side of the game as well, it's a big defeat to come back from. Dinka gets on it again. Christy Haney, big day for her in her first start, trying to get over and get her hands on that ball. Big hit from Nicola Friday, and now eventually Rigoni does decide to kick it, and it's a great looking kick as well. She's dropped it over the head of Lucy Mulhall. Just needed a slightly counter bounce for the 50-22 Rigoni. But now Mulhall, her first selection at full back, and that's going to be an interesting one today.
Super kick by Rigoni in the end. I'm surprised it took them that long. Italy are playing with the wind down into this left-hand corner. It was one of their Achilles heels in the Six Nations last year. Italy did not use a kicking game to any good effect. They're going to have to if they're going to play in the right places. They can play great ball, but they have to play in the right place of the pitch. You can see Lucy Mulhall didn't get much yardage on her kick because she's kicking into a huge wind.
Now the Italians already inside the opening 2 minutes with an injury to deal with, and given they lost the likes of Solari and Duca from the second row to COVID in the last few days. This is the last thing they would have needed.
I think it could be just contact lens.
Let's hope that all it is. It looks like it's Lucia Guy on her 79th cap, the tight head prop. And good to see her back on her feet. I was watching the Italian lineouts ahead of the game as they were practicing them. The wind was causing absolute havoc. So let's wait and see if Tunisi, who's now partnered in the second row by Valeria Federighi, can work this to their advantage and can secure this first line-out. Del McMahon, a late arrival to the front for Ireland. No surprise maybe in the conditions to see the line-out go for the safe option to the front. Now the Italians look to get that maul going, and popped out by Melissa Batoni. As mentioned earlier, happy knack in the last couple of years of scoring tries. Batoni, the hooker against Ireland. In good field position here now inside the Irish 22. Baratin pops it out to Guy. Both sides of the field to work with. Madia. And Baratin drawing the referee's attention to an indiscretion by one of the Irish players. The Italians with the advantage here. Monaghan, well, meeting Tunisi right on the 22. Shuddering hit between the two second rowers. Baratin again. Madia, flat ball for Dinka. No space for her. Cronin and making sure she was in sharply with the tackle along with Edel McMahon. Baratin and now Rigoni. Oh, floats a lovely ball out to Dinka. Doesn't have the pace to get away from Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe though. But they've been ambitious in the opening 3 minutes, the Italians.
Look, they're so exciting to watch how they play, keep that ball alive, looking to get it into those wider channels. Ireland's defence was quite good. They were coming up connected, but gave away a penalty. I think it was Dorothy Wall for going off her feet. 6 penalties already in this campaign. Really need to be tidying it, particularly in this scoring area right in front of the posts.
Now what's the option? Manuela Furlan, the captain, has just decided that Rigoni, I think, is going to have a pop at goal here. Or is she? No, she's not.
Surely
well,
they have to go for posts.
Yeah, I think she's just waiting for the tee to come on. Well, their only points in the championship so far, 2 Michela Solari penalties in the defeat to France, where there were many positive moments. They were well in that game until France pulled away late on.
Yeah, it was the 70-minute mark that France pulled away, and Italy played all the rugby, but as I said, just not in the right areas of the pitch. Dinka was brilliant in the first half. She was substituted. Surprised that she was substituted. She was playing a really good game. And there's first points now to Italy.
And reward for a good start, and you would have to say that came as well from the kick from Rigoni from her own 22 that turned Ireland and got Italy good field position.
Yeah, that penalty was actually Lyndon Jungang off her feet. Yeah, they have to get confidence from that and use the kicking game, particularly in the first half.
Beatrice Rigoni now on to 76 points in her career. Nicole Cronin, this kick goes right down the middle. Loose pass, but well picked up in the end by Furlan. Ireland countering there, they've won the ball. Friday gets it moving quickly to Haney. Madia trying to hold on to the Ireland prop. Catherine Dane, she's got a lovely zippy pass in her, and that's a good ball out to Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe. Cuts back in field to make sure she stays on the field of play. Hannah O'Connor getting her start ahead of Brittany Hogan at 8 today. Floated out by Cronin. Monaghan is in the line and hurled on by Mulhall. Eve Higgins, first chance for Bevan Parsons. Real buzz of anticipation. First start of the campaign for Parsons. Dane gets it moving again. But the Italians have earned themselves the penalty, and the positive attacking position for Ireland will come to nothing.
It's a great turnover from Ireland. Njungan got down on the ball. They look to come back down the blind side then. Great pass from Stacey Flood again. She just plays it so flat on the line to Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe. But then there was probably a bit of over-ambitious from Ireland to try and get out to the other wing too quickly as opposed to punching.
Well, that's a mistake from Rigoni and gives Mulhall a chance to run it back here. Parsons, she and Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe changing jersey numbers ahead of the game. Parsons now wearing 14. Dane. Mulhall into the line again. Dane, done quickly. Haney getting her hands on plenty of ball already. Friday, and here is the elusive Eve Higgins, but the Italians well aware of her threat. Good tackle by her opposite number, Dinka. Cronin, the ball back inside to Stacey Flood, who's got the strength to drive on a few metres more. Dane down the short side. Higgins, score of that brilliantly finished try in France. Off the back of a period of sustained Irish pressure. Murphy-Crowe into play, scrum half. Hannah O'Connor. Dane just lost her footing as she was passing. Flood. And the little grubber kick through.
Back one.
How's that been knocked on? Barrettin. Giordano. Barrettin again, Madia. Showing that ambition to run at every opportunity here, the Italians. But it's an Irish penalty this time. And it's the hooker, Melissa Bettoni, with she off her feet.
Well in from Hannah O'Connor there, but again, Italy turnover ball. They need to look to kick it downfield and use their kick chase. Good tackle by Nicola Friday. Hannah O'Connor just judges it, gets into a low body position, and Bettoni's off her feet there as well. First scrum of the game will be interesting. Obviously Ireland struggled against France. They put in a bit of work this week. They've been out scrummaging against the UCC under-20s under the watchful eye of the senior men's coach John Fogarty. So with regards to weights, there's not much difference between the packs, so it's about Ireland getting lower than Italy. Italy's scrum has done okay against the likes of France.
Bind! Set!
And it holds firm for Ireland, held at the feet of Hannah O'Connor. Now Dane gets it moving. Parsons backing herself on the outside, but Dinka is there to help out. And they've shepherded Bevan Parsons well there, the Italians.
Scrum blue.
Ireland's got the scrum up on the left-hand side. Parsons was 1v2, probably wasn't the right option. They marshalled her well, good scramble defence from Italy.
Keep your bang. Yeah, a long
Parsons,
bang.
one of the try scorers in the World Cup qualifying win against the Italians in Parma last autumn. A tournament that really was to turn on that game against Scotland. The late Sarah Law kick, the late Eve Higgins sin binning. And of course, ultimately the fact that Ireland will not be heading to the World Cup. The Italians are World Cup bound. First time they will be at back-to-back World Cup since 98 and 02. And that's excellent work from Ireland at the scrum. They've got the penalty.
Yeah, Maris has gone in there at an angle. It's a good return from Ireland now. Kick into a good position here and see what their line-out can do.
Christy Haney has made some impact already.
Yeah, look, she came off the bench last week. I thought she did well. It was tough coming on with regards to the scrum, but she carried well. She took it to France last week. You can just see Maris in there on the angle, causing the scrum to turn around. Lyndon Jungang could probably get a little bit lower there still.
On the line, blue.
Line out to the front and Hannah O'Connor. It's a bit awkward, but great reactions from Sam Monaghan, who's had a big tournament. And now Parsons with that jinking step back on the inside. The ball's been ripped up by Rigoni.
Advantage over.
Dinka will kick away. And what's the chase like from the Italians? There's time here for Mulhall.
Tackle.
Dane. McMahon with hands out in front, waiting for it.
Tackle, Willis.
Gains a couple of metres. Dane again. Here's Higgins. Looking for space. The Italians strong in their midfield defence. Dane once more. Cronin. Little pop pass for Niamh Jones is just forward.
Yes, it's clear.
Yeah, over eagerness to get into that gap that she saw opening up Niamh Jones, but right idea. It's Ireland punch that line, look for those gaps, just marginally forward.
One of the big talking points when the squad was named was no Cleona Maloney, but Niamh Jones has taken her chance. She's been prominent in the games, big tackles.
I think from a defensive point of view, she's certainly stood up, not just a huge amount of tackles, lots of dominant tackles when I think it's 35 over the first 2 games, and you know that's huge. Now we have to see her in the attack side of things as well and nail that set piece. She's got a small frame in that scrum, but she needs to look to impose herself somehow, get into angles, look to work that Italian front row.
And Maloney was a big ball carrier, wasn't she, and a try scorer as well.
Yeah, look, I suppose they're different types of players, and it was said that it was on form that Cleona wasn't here, so she has to just plug away back in the Premiership and hope to see that her form gets her back into contention in this squad.
Andrea Di Giandomenico, appointed in 2009. Oversaw Italy's first away Six Nations win in Bridgend in 2010. A year later, they've won 10 away games in their Six Nations history, 5 in Wales, 5 in Scotland. They came close in Donnybrook 6 years ago. They lost by 11 points.
Not on 9.
It's still chasing this elusive first victory on Irish soil.
Yeah, good scrum by Italy there, and just Barrington just knocks it on. She really just looked, she should have played it off the base. She picked it and dropped it again. She'd be frustrated with that, a player of such experience. Her 104th cap to be doing something like that.
She's 35 now, made her debut 17 years ago. Sarah Barrington captained the Italians at the 2017 World Cup in Ireland and made her 100th appearance against Ireland in Parma back in September.
Yeah, back to coach Dijan Domenico, like he's totally invested in his squad, like he's been part of the fabric of it for so many years. I'm delighted for him that they've qualified for this World Cup, and the likes of Barretine and Furlan as well.
Use the ball.
Cronin. Here is Flood. That brilliant ability to play the skip pass, and Parsons linking up with Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe. Oh, and Rigoni's done brilliantly there to get across and help out Estoni Minuzzi.
Stay back.
You're not where you want to be one-on-one against Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe. The latest carries from Dorothy Wall.
Advantage.
Ireland with the advantage, and now the penalty.
Not running.
Tackler not rolling away there, Federighi.
The contact is good, but tackler not falling.
Just see the way Ireland, if they can get to both those wider channels, how exciting they are. But again, Italy's scramble defence is excellent to marshal them, not give them that break down the wing and force Ireland back on the inside.
Cronin makes sure, didn't want to take every inch out of it, just making sure of her touch, which will land Ireland inside the Italian 22. And now the line-out throw for Niamh Jones. We saw the Italians in these windy conditions go with the safe option. What's the plan here for Ireland? And they've lost this one. Well, we saw it on a couple of occasions with good attacking line-out positions last week. They
Ball is out.
just didn't hit the mark.
Ball is out.
Ball is loose here as Ireland look to spoil. And now the carry from Tunezi.
No hand, no hand. Zurak.
Well, that would be a source of frustration, but there might be another opportunity. It's knocked on by Madia.
Yeah, unforced errors from Italy. Barretine at that scrum, and there we see Madia just taking her eye off the ball to see where she was going to kick it, and doesn't make good connection. Italy do well, they read that well, they get up in front of Friday. She really needs to get in front of Italy and tack with that inside shoulder. Whether that's hard up at 2 or hard up at 4, just in that 3 position, it's very hard to get the ball over that Italian 2 jumper's head. It's tough for Niamh Jones, so they have to change the call, particularly in these windy conditions. Attack hard at the front of the line out.
You wonder in these conditions if we might see a little bit of improvisation with the line-outs, a few little run-arounds the front. And now the Irish scrum in a great position here. Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe had gone in field, now she's gone back out to her right wing as the Italians get the squeeze on. It is Murphy-Crowe. Scored a brace on her first 15's start against the Italians last year. Cronin. Flat ball from Jungang. It's gone backwards though. And the Italians have slowed this down. McMahon has got Sam Monaghan right there with her. And Jungang. Driving off the back of that ruck. Needs some support now. Cronin for Flood, and there's the little kick in behind. No real opportunity for Parsons to get on the end of it though.
Yeah, Ireland probably should try and keep the ball in hand, but using their forwards more off 9, off 10, look to suck in that Italian defence a little bit more. Really have to put pressure on the Italian line out now. It has underfired, so Ireland should have confidence in trying to get up and put pressure on them.
It's an overthrow there. Monaghan is a little unlucky, it just broke forward off her. Aurelio Grossalou is happy to let play go on though. Niamh Jones.
You grab the tackler. You grabbing the tackler. Yeah, you grabbing. You
Okay.
grab the tackler.
You don't
Niamh
get
Jones told, isn't it?
You don't see referees penalise the attacking team for that much, but players are doing that. They're pinning the tackler in so they can't get out. And fair play to referee for noticing and calling it. Very rarely it's called.
And it's difficult for tacklers now. You've got to get out of there and be seen to be getting out of there, but teams will try whatever they can just to pin you down and hold you in there.
Yeah, you just see her left arm there holding her down to the ground.
Now Bettoni, and that's better, well secured in the middle of that lineup. Madia for Rigoni. And the latest carry from Sarah Tunesi. Made her debut at the UCD Bowl at the last World Cup. The Italian second row. Awkward ball thrown out the back, and we've seen a few of those already. And Baratin looking to settle things down again. Lucia Guy. Back with Rigoni, and under pressure from Stacey Flood. She gets her kick away. Oh, it's a lovely touch from Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe. Off the boot and into the hands. And this time it's the Italians penalised. Dinka not rolling away.
Some skill from Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe there. All the footballing skills. I don't think she ever played football. She was an athlete back in her, before rugby. Again, Italy probably aren't kicking at the right time there. At that stage, Ireland had 4 back in the backfield and didn't get a huge amount of distance on it. Skills. Just see Dinka, she makes the tackle and doesn't make any to roll towards the touchline.
Well, the crowd well in this one now. Ireland with a great attacking position here. A venue that inspired the Ireland men's under-20s to some huge performances in the last few years. And now they've got the rolling maul going, line out secured. Niamh Jones burrowing in at the back of that. Njungan there as well. And you can see Locatelli trying to get her hand in there and disrupt. Stacey Flood, Ireland advantage. Monaghan. Real appetite for work, Sam Monaghan. Edel McMahon, the latest to have a pick and go. 5 metres out, Ireland. Still 3 points to nil. The Beatrice Rigoni penalty, the only score we've had so far. Dane has a little dart back on the inside. Good tackle by Baratin. Niamh Jones again. Njungan. She takes some putting down, Linda Njungan. Ireland to meet her out now.
Advantage offside.
They're keeping it with the forwards. Italians offside. Ireland advantage once more. Well, they're pummeling away at that Italian line, but not quite there yet. Haney, good double hit from the Italians. Dane, and it's on out wide, and it's Lucy Mulhall who's in. Well, they were patient, Ireland. They went with the forwards, knocking on the door, and then when the opportunity presented itself, passes going to hand, and a big moment for Lucy Mulhall on her 4th cap at 15s, and she's in for the try.
Captain.
Super control by Ireland. They had penalty advantage picked, sucking in the Italian defence. Quality pass from Nicole Cronin, picked off by Lucy Mulhall, coming into the line late, floating on the outside. She had Baben Parsons outside her, but didn't need her. Good vision there. Medea can't get to Mulhall, who just comes into that line of perfect timing. But again, that came from a good line out. They went up hard at 2. They had the maul. They got penalty advantage off the maul, and then just slowly worked through the phases to suck in that Italian defence to create the space out wide.
Well, talking to Niamh Briggs ahead of the game, she said if we can get the right ball to these backs, they are absolute finishers, and you can see it in them. Not an easy kick this for Cronin. She struck it well though, but just couldn't bring it in. Difficult breeze to contend with. But Ireland in front now by 5 points to 3. We've been used down to years to seeing Nicole Cronin play at 9, but this move now, and Niamh Briggs will know her well, of positioning her at 10.
Yeah, look, she was brilliant in the Interpros for Munster when they won that competition. She hasn't had a huge, obviously, amount of time there. She played for UL Bows in the AIL, so it's basically a year that she's playing in that position, but it's at these high-level games that she just needs more time to grow into the position, to learn how to manage that game under pressure.
It's good in a way because she knows what's going through Catherine Dane's head, I guess, when she sees her playing 9. They'll have a bit of an understanding in that regard.
Yeah, and there's the likes of Stacey then slotting in at 12, who has that playmaker role as well. So you have a double playmaker role on the pitch, so that adds another dimension to it as well.
Just some attention here for Lyndon Jungang, the contact lens. This could take a while in this wind. But for Greg McWilliams, the importance, and you nailed it as you said, it was the line-out which hadn't worked a previous time, but they got that one right, and from there, well, they just had a dominant position off the maul and then through the phases.
Yeah, it was brilliant control. You know, they didn't rush to go wide, they just waited until that space was there to get the ball into the space, so it was really well controlled.
That's a good restart, but very well taken by Monaghan. We've seen already how good she is in terms of offloading. She was looking for another one there. None of her teammates quite close enough. Dane zips the pass out to Cronin. Flood with time in the backfield. And here's the try scorer, Mulhall. Looking to get those hands free and the ball away to Parsons.
Offside. Number 10. Where, Francesca?
Medea was offside there in the middle of the park. Referee, just as the last try was scored, warned Italy about the number of penalties that they were giving away. Just see Medea coming up there. Lucy Mahal again moving to full back. This is the first time she played the second half last week, obviously at full back, but she played in the centre for Wicklow, and then she started her international career on the wing. So interesting move to full back. Obviously a lot to learn in her positioning with regards, but I think she's going to be hugely exciting with regards to attack from that full back position.
If I'm not wrong, it was Tina Healy, and she's a very good footballer back in the day before she turned it to rugby, Lucy Mulhall. But again, those sevens runners are just fantastic to see when they get moving. And there is the sevens tournament coming up at the end of April, and so with England and Scotland still to play beyond this, those sevens players will not be available to Greg McWilliams, which will be a big issue to deal with, but will present opportunities for some others. I know you're looking forward to seeing Aoife Wafer come off the bench later today, but more on that in a minute. This is a fantastic run from Astuni Manuzzi, weaving through the Irish tackles. Baratin. Oh, and another break here, Veronese. Brilliant hands again from the Italians. Important tackle that from Stacey Flood, just to check the Italian momentum. Bettoni taken down by Edel McMahon. This is a flowing move from Gian Domenico's side. Niamh Jones, it's in another one of those dominant tackles. Tunesi put to ground just outside the Ireland 22. Madia. Astuni Manuzzi, who made the initial break to get the Italians into this position. Rigoni, the Veronese. It's been a tit-for-tat first half, hasn't it? The Italians back in a good position here now. Baratin.
Knock-on advantage. Knock-on advantage, Green. Advantage.
Well, that's come to naught because there is a knock-on. They're ambitious with ball in hand, but it does come with a risk. Dane trying to draw the referee's attention. That was an Italian hand slowing that ball down. Flood looking to run it out, and it wasn't held, so she can go again.
Advantage over for knock-on. No hands.
Oh, Cronin maybe just thinking a move ahead.
I think Italy were unfortunate to come away with nothing from that attack from just outside their own 22. I don't know how many players' hands it went through, but the offloads, the running lines, just some outstanding rugby. Here we see Astuni Manuzzi. She just takes on players, brilliant footwork, and she's looking to link up all the time.
Yeah.
And then they just look to go through the phases again, but Tony was involved. There was every player, I think, got a touch on the ball. Just the quality of that. But then they always try to go that one too far when they should just keep it in. This is a monster tackle that goes in here from Dorothy Wall. Again, Nicole Cronin, just the over-eagerness to get the ball into those wider channels.
Big defensive hit, all right, from Dorothy Wall. Only Poppy Cleo from the stats we were reading earlier in the week with more carries than Dorothy Wall so far. But in terms of possession, it's 60-40.
Oh, look, I don't believe in any of those stats. France had, God, less possession than Ireland, less possession than Italy. I think they had less possession
Even
than Scotland
today, yeah.
And they're just scoring bonus point wins, so.
Yeah, it's been said in many sports, you can have the ball, but it's the points that matter.
It's what you do with it and where you play it. And
Crouch!
Greg McWilliams' appointment back in December brought with it memories of the glory years under Philip Doyle, but also an acknowledgement of the challenge ahead. Challenge to be faced without many of the departing top name stars. Here is Baratin, who seems ageless and still going. Dinka to lay the pass beautifully. Furlan. Baratin can see it. Out to Madia. That one's gone backwards. Madia again. Ragoni escapes through her hands, but well taken by Dinka. Furlan there in support. Tunisi with the pass into midfield, but Tony's got it away, and then Fedrighi. And it was the backtracking Stacey Flood who'd shot up out of the line, anticipating one pass more, who managed to turn and check and get back and get Ireland back in possession.
Stop!
And Flood
6.
herself to kick it
Stop!
away.
You're onside.
Nice piece of work by Furlan, but Nathan Parsons standing there waiting for her. Bundles her into touch.
Furlan should have done better there. She should have played that ball on the inside. She had support there from McGaddy. Thought she might be able to take Parsons on. There's very few players that can take Parsons on. That ball had to go back on the inside.
Time off.
Good left foot from Stacey Flood to get Ireland out of trouble. And then it's the quality of the chase. She does it remarkably well to stay in here, but she had to pass that ball.
And Bevan Parsons, she's been itching for the start, coming off the bench in the first couple of games.
Yeah, look, we saw last week her over-eagerness at times. 3 errors when she came on the pitch in the second half. It's just eagerness to get on the ball, eagerness to make things happen, but she certainly gets the crowd on their feet every time she does get the ball or get involved in some way.
Yeah, she's an excellent try-scoring record, including, as we mentioned earlier, against the Italians in the qualifiers back in the autumn.
Look, teams are conscious about what she can do. They'll marshal her as well as they can. They'll use the touchline to their advantage, which we've seen from Italy so far, not allowing the likes of herself and Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe too much space or time on the ball.
Christy Haney requiring some attention. And you look at that Ireland front row now, we're used down the years, Laura Feely and Leah Lyons, and in terms of the back row then you've got, of course, we're beyond the era, the fantastic era of Claire Malloy now. Lindsay Peat finally finishing up as well. Big names, big characters.
Yeah, look, lots of change, and I suppose when you're looking at things like set piece, the amount of technicalities around it. Obviously last week France, yes, were bigger, but technically they were better than Ireland as well, so you have to get technically proficient, and that takes time, and you can't overly fix things in a week when you've only got probably an hour together, an hour and a half on the pitch together. You're doing a lot of analysis, a lot of video analysis and stuff on yourself and the opposition, but you get very little contact time to actually try and change things. So I'd hope to see it evolve as the competition goes on, and certainly into the summer if they get more games.
Excellent line out throw that from Niamh Jones, but plenty of zipping it right to the front. Here is Parsons. Eve Higgins works it on to Stacey Flood, flings the pass out to Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe. Big hit from Veronese. Dane for Dorothy Wall. Big ball carrier. Cronin into midfield comes Monaghan, breaks through the first tackle. Cronin again. Eve Higgins, lovely little shimmy back on the inside. Hannah O'Connor, good clear out work there at the ruck. Monaghan again. Heading towards the half-hour mark at Musgrave Park. Ireland by 5 points to 3. Cronin now with the little dink over the top for Stacey Flood, who's got it. Front foot ball again for Ireland. Dane quickly on the scene. Monaghan with or Edel McMahon rather with the carry this time. Dane over the head of Cronin to the Irish try scorer Mulhall. Niamh Jones.
Release, tackle!
Big clear out from Monaghan. And Jungang. Swiftly on to Dorothy Wall. Haney. Good pick up from Edel McMahon. And here goes Eve Higgins. Gets it into the hands of Parsons and off she goes. Babin Parsons dragged to ground by Tunezi.
Yes.
Vital tackle that from the Italian second row. In Jungang. Support there from Wall and from Haney as well. Dane for Cronin. Monaghan once more in midfield. Cronin pops it to Jones, who's through the first tackle. Niamh Jones, legs pumping, taken down just 3 metres short. Amelie Murphy-Crowe will get a second bite at this one and she's over. Or is she? Well, it looks like it's going to be pulled back, is it? Nicola Friday looking for an explanation.
We have a tackle. She's me on the ground. It's not right.
She's saying she's held in the tackle.
Me on the ground and not release the ball. Oh yeah.
Like to see that again. She
After
takes her on the outside. Good work by Furlan.
Yeah, yeah.
Not held there. Ooh, hard done by on that.
Now, does that go to the
No,
TMO?
no. My TMO, I review this action. It's very clear for you.
I think she said the TMO has reviewed that. That is very, very harsh on Amelie Murphy-Crowe. She certainly wasn't held. Knees didn't seem to be on the ground. She got back up.
Time off. TMO review.
Ah, yes, now, here we go.
Correct?
So it all depends on the question she asks.
My on-field decision is not try.
Okay.
For me, I have a tackle before the try.
Okay, show you the angles.
I think she might be changing her mind on this one.
Well, she's making the long jog all the way across to the far side. Aurelia Grosolo. She's got her near side touch judge with her as well, who would have had a very good view of this. Furlan did really well initially just to make the tackle. Not held. Up and off her feet again.
Please.
Already, this is the best angle. Back on you.
Grounding's perfect.
She's definitely not held by Furlan. She's back on her feet. McGatty tackles her over the line. That's a try.
She was back on her feet before McGatty got
This
to
is
her
the
as
best
well.
angle.
Yeah, for me. We have a tackle for the
Okay.
14.
Go ahead with your decision.
Yeah, are you agree? For me, it's a tackle for 14. Eric?
Do you think the tackle is completed?
Yes.
Okay, go.
I stay for my on-field decision. It's not try, it's a tackle.
Eric Gozans is
No,
the
it's a
TMO, and he
tackle.
just seemed to say, are you happy with your decision? And try disallowed.
Yeah, I think that's really harsh on Ireland. I think goes in. He came in on the official review. He needed to be stronger on that. But look, referee's decision is the one that stands at the end of the day.
Aurelia Grosolo has the benefit of the big screen behind the goalpost as well.
She wasn't changing her mind on that one, and we go on now with a line out.
Time
But
on.
what a try it would have been. It came from a Nicole Cronin chip over the top to Stacey Flood, and just some brilliant Irish attack. Such a shame not to come away with something from that. It's shocking, to be honest.
Giordano secures the line out at the front. Ostuni Minuzzi onto Tunezi. That's
Outside.
certainly a let-off for the Italians inside the last 10 minutes of this first half. But Tony looking to crash it up.
No problem. Yes, ball is out.
And the ball is out. Good work by Nicola Friday in there. Untidy possession here for Italy. Madia to Rigoni. Floated out once more. But Furlan Good driving run on the inside. Met by a big hit from Niamh Jones, who doesn't hold back in the tackle, does she? Ireland penalty.
Holding on.
Again, Italy looking to overplay it in their own half. They're getting themselves into all sorts of trouble. Great work by Stacey Flood to get in on that ball. Ireland just now get into another good attacking position and see if their line-out can function from here.
You look at the fixtures, despite Italy not having too many wins against Ireland, games have been tight, and this has been a tight first half. You look at this, Stacey Flood was there, Christy Haney as well, but it was Flood who was in there hunting that ball. Now Hannah O'Connor at the front again, Friday behind her, and Dorothy Wall, the third in line. It's Nicola Friday. Very clean line out from Ireland, and the ball is off and moving again. Jones and Njungang well positioned at the back of it and stealthily making ground here, Ireland. Looks to be in the hands of Njungang, and she'll sheer off now. Furlan and Madia charged with halting her progress. Friday. Can Dane keep this moving? Monaghan.
Advantage offside.
And again, always gains yards. Sam Monaghan. Haney. Head down, legs pumping. Ireland inside the 5 metres.
Stay back.
Dane for McMahon. Strong Italian defence. Monaghan again. Well, she's the go-to when they're in this tight. Ireland trusting her to make ground. Dorothy Wall. A metre short here. Big moment this late in the first half.
8 offside.
There's an offside here against Giordano. Ireland with advantage. Huge hit coming in from Tunisia on Edel McMahon. Now the chance to go wide. Nicole Cronin stepping. Just couldn't quite reach Nicole Cronin. Dane. Stacey Flood. Parsons. Still Bavin Parsons.
Knock on. No
Knocked
advantage.
on.
Yeah.
Ireland had the penalty advantage though.
Time is off.
Yeah, she's going to have to stern words. I think
We
there was
have
3
two
offsides in
advantage
a
for
row.
Offside. No, time is off.
I could
Time
just
is
see
off.
Amy Lee Murphy
Captain.
Crow wanted the ball
Yeah.
across quickly for a chance to go early, but
We have 2 offside.
the referee has a word
Number
to
8.
dispense first.
Yeah.
And the card is coming out here for Giordano.
2 option, captain. 2 option. Yeah, yes. On 5 or yeah. We're going to 5, please.
Just see that Ireland were probably trying to force it again to try and get into Parsons' hand. She's been ripped 2 or 3 times, leading with the ball.
Ireland have that confidence in the line-out now. Friday, no hesitation in saying that's what we're going for. And particularly now with the Italians down a back rower. And Elisa Giordano. Really good chance this for Ireland. Just over 6 minutes to go in this first half to extend that advantage.
Yeah, really well set up maul. They went up hard at 2. Eventually a bit of dancing around in the line and went up hard at 2, set up the maul well. Just worked through the phases. Sam Monaghan's been involved in some huge carries, just sucking in some 2 or 3 Italian players every single time. Such an imposing player for Ireland.
When she came in the World Cup qualifiers, Sam Monaghan, she, from Meath I think it is, but identified through IQ and plays with Wasp, but she has been an immense physical presence since her debut.
Yeah, she's only been in the Wasp squad. Giselle Mathers over there spotted her and brought her into the squad and has just flourished. I think when she was with Meath, she was a goalkeeper, but she's just that type of second row player that Ireland need. Really imposing, hard carrier, involved in a lot of dirty work around the rucks and adding a bit of bulk and weight to the scrum. But you see there, we're going to getting in and stripping the ball from Parsons. That, as I said, the second or third time she's been ripped, leading with the ball.
Beatrice Rigoni on her 52nd cap today. She's had some big defensive moments, but Italy as a unit will need a big defensive moment here as Ireland discuss the game plan.
Diamond.
Yeah, no, almost not far off 2-1 in terms of the tackles made.
It's just all the possession Ireland have had. Italy are just under the pump, particularly in this zone. Ireland have to come away with something now before half-time.
One loose line out early in the piece, but since then Niamh Jones has been bang on with these. Well taken by Hannah O'Connor. The crowd urging Ireland on here as they creep ever closer. They're the most threatening maul so far. They're very close, very, very close. They're over. This try counts, is it in Jungang? I think it might well be. Well, it's Niamh Jones. They get up together. It's one of the two.
Yeah, I think it was Jones there at the back of the maul, controlling it. Worked by Catherine Dane as well to keep him checked. But again, simple line out, up at 2. Italy don't contest. They get a really good tight maul. See Hannah O'Connor here. No competition there from Italy. Really good at the front, not banking that line out, and then just great control here. Dorothy Wall is just shearing up in front of Niamh Jones. Petoni coming in from an offside position. Catherine Dane just marshalling her troops on. They would have had a penalty advantage off that anyway for Petoni coming in from the side. There's
been so much talk this week and ahead of the game about the set piece, about the scrum, about the line out, but it's been a big plus for Ireland in this first half. That was an outstanding maul, and Niamh Jones at the end of it. If you're on the back of a good maul, hooker is a great position to be, isn't it? The tries will come. We saw Lark Davies yesterday for England. Another couple for her.
Yeah, Lark Davies, I think, in the Premiership is one of the top scorers, and she has a fair few at international level as well. And look, if you have a dominant maul, it's certainly something that you go to time and time again, particularly in that zone.
Just drifted at the last minute for Nicole Cronin. They conceded the early penalty to Rigoni. It's been a really good reaction since then. The Italians have had their moments, but Ireland are playing now, and off the back of a set piece, that always gives you a good platform to work with.
And being ruthless when Italy are down a player as well. I think it's really important. It won't just happen for you, it's about making things happen for you when you've got a one-player advantage.
And Italy won't be seeing their number 8, Elisa Giordano, for the rest of this first half. Can Ireland make hay in that regard in the minutes that remain? Not too many. And Jungang. Fantastic moment for Niamh Jones to get the try, having made her debut in October 2020 against the Italians. Cronin floats it out to Flood, on and turn to Higgins. Mulhall, Parsons. The only real option she had, looking for the kick and chase, is the Italians converging her again over there.
Well recovered by Eve Higgins there. We haven't seen a huge amount of her yet, but she has been on form the last 2 games for Ireland. Not a lot of options for Parsons, but in heavy traffic there, trying to get the kick away.
Her range isn't an issue for Bevin Parsons. Remember that try she scored, was it 2 years ago against Scotland in Donnybrook, where she intercepted and ran the full length of the pitch and there was no one getting near her. Good pass that from Dane to Cronin onto Dorothy Wall. And now Mulhall taken down by Dinka. Wall again. Petoni stood her ground. And the option here is the kick, and in this swirling breeze, doesn't carry too far. Dinka needs some support. Ostoni Manuzzi. Ireland fans feeling that Dinka held on a little bit too long there. There's a big hit going in on Lucia Guy. Madia going to pop a pass back on the inside. Guy again. Rigoni.
Knock on.
Knock on off an Irish hand. There's an advantage here for Locatelli.
He's deliberate.
Now about 90 seconds to go in this first half. A chance maybe for Rigoni to get them into a good position here.
Yeah, Nicole Cronin was in for the tackle and knocked on. I'm not sure if it was penalty. I'd like to see that again. But again, just allows Italy into a good attacking position. We haven't seen them launch off line out here, so it'll be great to see what they can do here.
Thank you.
Yeah, she wasn't kind of one of those 50-50s. Her hand is trailing as she's making the tackle.
Please.
Now the Italians can yet change this tone here. With a score here before a half-time. Very good line-out as well. Madia. Worked on by Ragone, Tunasi, Dorothy Wall, the second tackler there. Another big hit from her. Madia. On by Estone Minuzzi. Baratin. Tunasi, double hit again, and once again Wall is one of the Irish players involved. Bettoni. Dorothy Wall doing her best to get out of there and not concede the penalty. Madia. Here is Maris, Talused. They're looking to clear out and get good possession. It's awkward though for Baratin, who's pounced on by Monaghan, who's trying to ruck over that ball as well, Sam Monaghan. Clock in the red now, Ragone. Estone Minuzzi trying to get the hand free. She dink in support.
Offside.
The Italians offside. Ragone.
Yeah, I think she was in the ruck and then picked it through the ruck.
You don't have the last player in the ruck. Offside.
Well, that will see Ireland, I would imagine, safely through now to half-time and into the dressing rooms with a 7-point advantage. Well contested first half. Ragone's penalty, 4 minutes in. The opening score of the game, but the 2 tries of the first half have come from Ireland, from Lucy Mulhall and from Niamh Jones. One finished by a back, one by the hooker. And Ireland off to a good ovation here in Cork. It's a game with a lot on it, as we mentioned. 2 sides who have lost both opening fixtures in the opening 2 rounds, but it's Ireland with the advantage. A 7-point lead at half-time. Ireland 10, Italy 3.
There's lots of great rugby action taking place on the pitch. So let's give a huge round of applause for teams from Dungarvan, Ballyconnell, Tyrone, Gale. Next up for Ireland women is an away match against England on Sunday, 24th of April, with the final match against Scotland taking place on April 30th at Kingspan Stadium. Tickets for that match are available on Ticketmaster.ie. There's lots of rugby to look forward to over the next few weeks. Munster take on Exeter in Thomond Park next Saturday in the second leg of the European round of 16 games. And on Friday, 29th of April, Munster are back here in Musgrave Park in the United Rugby Championship against Cardiff Rugby at 7:35. Tickets to both matches are on sale from munsterrugby.ie.
More! Advantage number 2. More! Advantage number 2. More! Advantage number 2. More! Advantage number 2.
Just a reminder to everyone who's parked in the Black Ash Park and Ride car park this evening, the car park will close at 9 p.m. sharp. We also ask that you respect the local residents by parking responsibly and not blocking driveways at any future visits here to Musgrave Park. I always want to be a part of something bigger than just me. I'm strong, but I have a lot of women. Don't forget to stay up to date on all the chat on Twitter by following @IrishRugby on Twitter and using the hashtag #NothingLikeIt. And a special thanks to Ballincollig RFC who are providing the ball team for this evening's game. One more time, let's get a huge round of applause from the teams from Dungarvan, Ballincollig, Tralee, and Garryowen.
We see a world increasingly impacted by the choices we make. That's why we shape decisions that protect and grow communities so we can all achieve our full potential. Our job is to provide clarity and confidence to every young client, making them better informed, better equipped, and able to make better decisions. AIM is the business of better decisions.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, give a big welcome back to Italy, led by Captain Manuela Furlan.
So Ireland emerge for the second half, the final game in round 3 of the TikTok Women's Six Nations Championship this weekend. Ireland with a lead at half-time, but the Italians still very much in the fixture, and it looks like Italy have made a change at half-time as well. The experienced Sofia Stefan, who was a try scorer when Italy beat Ireland back in Parma in 2019, has come on, and it looks like she's replaced Veronica Madia, so it looks like there will be a little bit of a tactical reshuffle here. Fiona will keep tabs on that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Rigoni obviously played out half in the first match. Stefan has played a lot at the wing, so it'll be interesting to see who slots in where.
Well, we'll soon find out. There she is, Sofia Stefan, her 65th cap, having made her debut 11 years ago in France. 14 tries to her name as well. And for now, she's just taken up station on the right wing. We'll wait and see exactly what the Italians have in mind. Kick-off secured by Sam Monaghan. Dane out to Nicola Friday, who shows her intent, running with 2 of the Italian tacklers, including Federighi. Offside here, Hannah O'Connor. And an early chance for Italy to get good position now.
Yeah, O'Connor was just offside there in front of the kicker, not making any attempt to work her way back, but good by Ireland to try and use the wind that they had behind their back. Stacey Flood probably would have liked to get a little bit more distance on that, but that's hopefully what we'll look to see them do. You just see O'Connor there in front of Stacey Flood and continues on her run.
And you've got to be seen by the match official to check and hold. Now we saw Ireland get some joy from lineouts in this position in the first half. Melissa Bettoni throws right into the middle where Locatelli has been the target.
Captain.
Yeah, it's killer when you get into good attacking positions like this, and then for the win to slightly take it. Ireland opting for the scrum. Their scrums have been good in the first half. Let's hope that continues on for Ireland in the second half. Obviously a discernible improvement since last week in their scrum. They're certainly lower and more cohesive. As I said, Italy aren't a huge pack, but they've been together a long time. There's a lot of experience in that pack, particularly with the likes of Batoni and Guy.
And of course, Elisa Giordano, their number 8, who was sin-binned late in the first half. She's got about 2 minutes left there. They also don't have and haven't had this season Giada Franco, big operator in that back row as well. They've been able to call on her.
Yeah, Franco, Araghetti, Scorbini. There's a couple missing from that pack.
And for the Italians, playing with 14 for the moment, they'll be happy to be down in the Ireland half. Awkward bounce for Astuna Manuzzi. She's managed to keep herself in the field of play, and what's more, found a pass for Stefan as well. Another big tackle coming in from Niamh Jones. Score of that second Ireland try in the first half. Edel McMahon gets herself turned right side. Now the kick from Dane. It's Eve Higgins. It's off and she's gone. Eve Higgins will not be for catching here. A try score in Toulouse. Well, eyes on that ball all the way. Quicker in thought indeed, Eve Higgins. And what a start to the second half for Ireland. The kick from the scrum half, Catherine Dane, and Eve Higgins does the rest.
Super try. I didn't think there was much on them when Dane made that kick. I didn't think she kicked it far enough, but well plucked out. Just see here where ball comes from. Great turnover. Hannah O'Connor there, making up for that penalty she just gave away. No one in the backfield for Italy, and Higgins picks that up beautifully. Again, this all stems from a good Irish scrum in their own 22. They kick for position, and a super finish from Ireland.
Well, just as they concede that try, Italy now back to the full complement with the return to the field of Elisa Giordano, who thought she was coming on at 10-3. 15-3 now Ireland with the conversion attempt to come. But she is so sharp, Eve Higgins. Nicole Cronin blocks everything out, and as soon as she struck that one, she was reaching for the tee. No issues for Nicole Cronin. Big 7 points that for Ireland.
Yeah, super kick at the end by Dane. Well weighted and brilliant by Higgins. She's certainly taken a claim for that 13 jersey. Obviously, there's been a few people in and out of that jersey since the great Lynn Cantwell, but Higgins is certainly finding her feet there.
Well, she has been on the radar. She's just 21, but she was named in an extended World Cup squad in 2017 in her leaving cert year, and I know she was inspired to play this game by the 2013 Grand Slam winning team. And not wanting to embarrass you, but she names herself, of course, Fiona's, well, one of the big inspirations for her, Eve Higgins.
It's only because I thought with her auntie. No, to be fair, she was such a bright spark coming up through those ranks at underage. First of all, in Barnhall, I thought she would have made a great out half if she'd be given time there. She was obviously plucked away by the sevens, and it's just great to see her back now in a 15 jersey and seriously making it her own there.
Adding to a brilliantly taken try in Toulouse last week, Eve Higgins with another one here. Looking back at Ragoni, putting her hand in on Njungang.
Bind! Win the space. Set!
Now the Italians back to 8 in the scrum. Looking to get a shove on here, but Ireland hold firm. Out at the feet of Hannah O'Connor, and Ireland with the advantage. Chance to try something here. Nicole Cronin. Crossfield kick, all on the bounce now. Emily Murphy-Crowe, backed up by Mulhall. And these players we know can be lethal in open play. Mulhall and Flood and Emily Murphy-Crowe, Eve Higgins. Here's Njungang and Batoni. Tried to meet her right on the gain line. Cronin, a show of it. Dane. Hannah O'Connor. Here's Stacey Flood, Dorothy Wall, and Monaghan together. Dane again. Little dab through from Stacey Flood. Awkward bounce, that one. And Ireland have the penalty.
Offside.
Some super play from Ireland in those last two attacks. Obviously good decision to kick into the space by Nicole Cronin. Great chase by Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe, and just her ability to keep that infield is outstanding. Furlong questions that bounce of the ball. Brilliant work there. Again, they worked through the phases of some great interlinking between the backs and the forwards for Ireland.
Mixing the game up nicely here, Greg McWilliams' team.
There you are, you have your loose head, your hooker looking to keep that ball alive. Brilliant carry by Nicole Cronin. She's only 50 kgs, but she makes gain line on that carry. Oh, Dinka was just in front there. Furlong who knocked on the ball.
Too tempting for Dinka in the circumstances. Good take at the front from Friday this time. Ireland try and find that maul momentum. It's not there this time, so Jones takes it away. Stacey Flood. Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe has somehow plucked that one.
The ball is available.
Off the ball issue between Barrington and Niamh Jones. The referee might revisit that in a moment, but Ireland in threatening position again. Niamh Higgins looking to pirouette away from Dinka. Cronin is going to try and release that ball. Njungang. And right there on her shoulder is Mulhall. Dane for Wall, who just fumbled it.
Knock on. No. Yeah.
I was probably surprised to see Stacey Flood looking to grubber that in behind, and sometimes with momentum and things are on your side, the bounce is up kindly to Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe.
The ball is.
She's always hungry, looking for work off her wing.
Just play. Yeah, but there. No. Yeah, no problem. Yeah. The last scrum, your position.
And Dorothy Wall offering the hands of apology.
Yeah, we probably haven't seen a huge amount of Wall in this season, Six Nations. Obviously she came on like a blaze last Six Nations and she was outstanding. Sometimes it's that second season syndrome, you know, just get caught between coming on players. Opposition don't know you too well, so you're giving that little bit more space and time, and she's just not getting it anymore.
She actually made her debut in an Ireland back row alongside Claire Malloy and Ciara Griffin. And you soak up as much as you can from those two. Big career ahead of her, Dorothy Wall. Stacey Flood looking for the cross kick. Off goes Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe, and she is eating up the ground here on Furlong, who had a good 10-yard head start. The Italian captain under pressure. Well, there it is again, the kick from Flood, the chase from Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe.
Yeah, Furlong was probably too bothered about Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe and where she was as opposed to chasing down on the ball. But yeah, brilliant vision by Stacey Flood. She sees Italy, there's no one there, acres of space. And Furlong carries it back over with pressure from Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe that gives Ireland this scrum 5, and they've been dominant the last number of scrums, and when you're 5 metres out, you're really looking to go as an 8. Great defensive work from Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe there, pushing her back over that try line.
And we've seen this, Irish players playing with smiles on their faces. They're enjoying their day here. 14-point advantage, 50 minutes played. And there's the numbers for Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe, so prolific with the 7s. And making her name in a big way now with the 15s as well. As we said, it was her debut, her first start against Italy last year. She scored a brace of tries, also scored against Italy in the World Cup qualifiers, and earlier in this campaign a try against Wales.
And unfortunate not to have one here already today.
Lest we not forget, there's been quite a reaction to that, we understand, on social media to the disallowed try in the first half. Rock solid scrum for Catherine Dane. She'll leave it in there for a moment as well. Cronin. Now Flood with the kick through. Stina Minuzzi and Rigoni on the cover though.
Yeah, penalty advantage there for Ireland at the scrum.
La liaison, elle n'est pas bonne, donc il faut qu'elle rectifie, ça fait déjà 3 pénalités.
Elle n'est pas loin ou
Non,
elle est,
non, elle lâche la liaison, elle enlève
Ok.
son bras et elle passe dessous. D'accord? Donc c'est la 3e fois.
Yeah, third time, if my French is standing up to scrutiny.
Yeah, you just see here that Maris has her arm down to ground and is totally on the ground. And good French from Batoni there. She plays her rugby obviously in Stade Rennais, so.
I thought you were going to say good French from me.
Oh,
I
sorry,
only
that
picked up
too.
a little bit of it.
Crouch!
Still a really good attacking position this round for Ireland to go with the scrum again.
Set!
And Jungang against Guy, that's a heavy hitting head to head. Ireland get the shove on this time and advantage as well, and referee's going across, penalty try. Aurelia Grosselot has seen enough.
Yeah, Maris was going to ground again on that scrum, and Ireland hugely dominant. Penalty try, that's the bonus point try for Ireland. And obviously that's the 7 points. Just see a hand on the ground there by Maris.
Penalty try for Ireland. Ireland 24, Italy 3.
And what a good position Greg McWilliams' team find themselves in now. Bonus point try secured. 12 minutes into the second half. McMahon presents it. Dane and Jungang. And right there with her again is Niamh Jones. Cronin. Short ball for Flood, who gets it back to her out half. Well, they'll be looking to see now to a big morale boosting victory, Ireland, considering it's Welford Road next to face a rampant England. And they finish off in Belfast against Scotland. Stunna Manuzzi gets her hands free, then worked on by Federighi. But the Ireland pressure is good for Lan, snagged by McMahon. Rigoni. Batoni certainly one who will never give up the fight, the Italian hooker. Baratin. Oh, big hit there as well, coming in from
Offside.
Lucy Mulhall, but Ireland offside this time.
Thank you.
Yeah, obviously it's difficult for Italy in this half. The wind is in their face. They're not going to get a huge amount of ground if they do go to kick it in open play. And you can see on the flip side, Ireland are going to look to kick it more. Italy have 4 back there in the last phase, and Stacey Flood was looking for that little bit of space in between the front line and the back line.
Knock here for the captain, Nicola Friday. Just with this break in play, if it is all being set up, the TikTok Six Nations, for that final game in Bayonne between France and England, what a fixture to look forward to that will be.
Yeah, look, I think ticket sales already they've nearly sold out there in Bayonne, so it'll be a huge game. Current form, you would say England are hot favourites going into that. They've mixed and matched their team in the first 3 rounds. I don't think they've seen their strongest team start. They're just a different level in the first 3 games, and unfortunately they lost Abby Doe yesterday to a horrific injury. Hopefully she'll be back for the World Cup. I don't know how bad it is, but like, you hate to see that. Obviously they have a huge stock of players come from, but she was certainly in top form in yesterday's game. But that'll be a huge battle. France are always so strong at home. I just don't think France have hit the heights that they're capable of, and again they've chopped and changed their team. They're missing probably a couple of starters, but you know, credit to Scotland, they didn't allow France scoring in the second half today and went on and scored a try themselves in that 28-8 defeat to France. But yeah, I just think at the moment England look to be at a different level.
Changes on the way for Italy. We're going to see coming on number 20, Alessandra Frangipani, just 18 years of age, on for her second cap after making her debut in France. She will replace the big line-out option today, Isabella Locatelli.
Time is on.
So with Locatelli off, who do they go to now? Giordano at the front. Baratin, the flat pass for Rigoni, on in turn from Agati, who's not had much in terms of ball in hand today. Italy through the phases, trying to gain some ground here. Establish good position, Linda and Jungang. Not the one that Baratin really wanted to run into there. Well, this time Veronese and Stefan, the half-time arrival, waiting on the right wing for something that might come their way. And it might do now. Lovely hands to get it to Veronese. Baratin on to Bettoni. Well, if the Italians have a big comeback in mind, they've got to get the next score quickly. Veronese has stayed loitering on this right-hand side. Rigoni. Big hit up from Tunisi, who's carried with intent every time she's got that ball. Gai. Rigoni, who can make things happen in these areas. At the pass from Estuni Manuzzi, it doesn't go to hand.
Yeah, Italy building a nice attack there. Some of their big forwards coming into it. Tunisi, Verone in there. We saw Bettoni, she's normally involved in anything good about Italy. And Rigoni playing flat on the gain line. They came down the short side there and then go back to the other touchline and just passing into touch. But they were working hard to get those good gain line carries.
Time off.
And with that half-time change, the departure of the out half, the starting out half, Veronica Madia, it is Rigoni who's gone in at out half, and Sofia Stefan has stepped onto the wing. You often see her as the scrum half for Italy. The strapping for Edel McMahon.
Here. Scrum. Ale, tutto tuo ora,
55 minutes in, we've seen Andrea Di Giandomenico make some changes.
Set!
And Greg McWilliams happy with what he's seeing. And Dane. Friday. Dane sets herself for the kick. Estuni Manuzzi. They're looking to run it back for Italy. Flings one out the back. It's a little awkward though. Tunisia has made something of it. Stacey Flood looking to get over that ball again. Furlan. Big hit from Sam Monaghan. The Italians still pummeling away. It's the 18-year-old Frangipani now. Lucia Gai. Baratin, little ball back inside for Bettoni. Keeping possession, Italy, but not making much ground here. Ireland keeping two in the backfield, Lucy Mulhall and Bevan Parsons. Estuni Manuzzi. Rigoni, a change of tack, looking for the kick through. That's out of play for an Ireland line-out. Hard physical yards, the Italians trying to gain them there, but didn't get too far.
Yeah, just look at this hit from Sam Monaghan, opposing herself again. But yeah, there wasn't much on for Italy. They were working through the phases, but as you said, they weren't making much ground. And then Rigoni just looked for that little dink through, trying to find some space for players, Italian players to run onto.
Blue, no. Stay. Blue.
Ireland with that one line-out loss, and I think that was their first of the game. Friday. Yeah, that one didn't look straight.
It was dummy throw. Dummy throw from Niamh Jones there. Again, there was she probably just read the call wrong or something. There was a lot of movement in the Irish line-out before they were looking for that two jumper to go up at 2.
Scrum. 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 Sc
Yeah, she just dummied and then
Initially have opted for the scrum.
interesting one because they have been under pressure in the scrum as opposed to they've been under pressure in the line now, I suppose, as well, hasn't them, but to look to get further territory by kicking into that corner.
Set!
Well, they just about managed to get it out of there in the nick of time. Barrettson looking to pop one for Furlan. But that's gone forward. And maybe ruining the fact they went for that scrum. They were under pressure straight away.
Yeah, you could see the power from Ireland. They were driving as an 8. They got it up on the left-hand side to allow the Irish flankers get off into that defensive
4,
line.
3 and 14.
Well, we were contemplating and wondering about changes, and here they come now.
4, 6. Yeah.
And from left to right, we've got Brittany Hogan and Aoife Wafer on for her debut.
And 14.
Aoife Doyle back in the 15th fold as well. But talk to us about Aoife Wafer, who's come on wearing number 20, 19 years of age, and her sister's been in action with the Ireland under-18s, I think, this weekend. A busy weekend for the family, but what is she going to bring?
Yeah, I've obviously seen her play for Blackrock. She was the Leinster under-18s captain. I don't know a huge amount about her, but as far as I know, really hard tackling, hard grafting back row player. Tanya Rossert coached her on the way up at underage and just said that she's just a hard player and come from Enniscorthy. Her sister obviously is the under-18s. They are playing over in the Festival of in Scotland at the moment, so they played England and France, a close game against England, lost to France, and they play Wales in a full game, so I'm not sure where the parents are, whether they were over there, came back and are going over again. But yeah, a huge talent at 19 that has been playing the whole way up, and it's great to see a young 19-year-old get her first cap here today.
Not a bad situation to come into either, with your side leading 24 points to 3. That's a brilliant kick from Stacey Flood. And Aoife Doyle is into the action, as we said, as well. She's taken up station on the left wing.
Yeah, Aoife's been really good in the AIL this year for Railway Union. But look at this, it's great having a left boot of Stacey Flood to pin Italy back and looking for that space.
Interesting, Aoife Wafer, she's not in the line at the moment. She's lining out in midfield. That's definitely crooked.
Not straight.
On a day where it is awkward with that swirling breeze. That one didn't go to plan for Melissa Batoni.
Who is the captain? You?
Yes, go Hannah. Go Hannah. Hannah. Yeah, Hannah.
Bit unsure who the captain is since Nicola Friday went off, so I think they've just said Nicola Friday is taking over captaincy.
More changes for Ireland. It's the end of the afternoon for the hard-hitting Niamh Jones. She's replaced by Emma Hooban. Katie O'Dwyer coming on as well, and she replaces Christy Haney.
Look, it's good to see Ireland using their bench at 60 minutes. Previously, Niamh Jones has played the full 80. Lyndon Jungang still on there, but she's played the full 80 as well. And, you know, in the modern game, you can't see front row players playing the full 80, particularly when you're expecting them to scrummage and then work around the park.
Dominant looking scrum from Ireland again. Dane now gets it out. Cronin to Flood. Aoife Doyle into the line, and then Mulhall, and now Murphy Crowe. Wafer gets her first carry as a senior Ireland international. Katie O'Dwyer doesn't waste long in getting her hands on the ball. Here's Cronin, Flood. There's the kick through again. The chase led by Eve Higgins. You can just see with Stacey Flood, the Italians, they're not quite sure what to do with her because she's mixed that game up. She's run, she's passed, and look for those kicks in behind as well.
Yeah, it's that triple threat that she has, and because she's playing it flat on the gain line. Confirmation that Hannah O'Connor has taken over the captaincy. So obviously Nicola Friday is squad captain, but then the senior players group includes Nicole Cronin, Hannah O'Connor and Catherine Dane. So it was always going to be one of those three that took over the captaincy.
Stacey Flood's some conversation with Nicole Cronin as to what the plan is here off this set piece just outside the Italian 22. 17.5 minutes remaining. Musgrave Park, Ireland in the ascendancy. Once again, that scrum is strong. Barretton looking to pounce on Catherine Dane. Penalty, Ireland look to go quickly.
Back. 6. Move. La 6, elle est pliée. Scrum.
The scrum has been done, and it's a big challenge ahead, of course, at Welford Road against that England pack. You look at the 10 tries England scored yesterday, 7 came from the forwards. There's going to be a lot of work ahead.
Well, particularly when it's probably going to be a much changed Irish squad, as you said previously. A lot of those Irish players, not sure exactly who, whether it's all going to be Oldham, and will be off to Langford to play in the sevens.
What an ovation for Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe as she leaves to be replaced by Enya Breen. She's a huge fan's favourite, isn't she?
Look, she's just so exciting when she gets her hands on the ball, but she's a hard worker as well, defensively, but also coming off her wing in attack. And we just see positional change. Enya Breen's coming in at the centre at 13, and Eve Higgins has moved out to the wing, I think.
Brittany Hogan now packing down at the back of that scrum. Enya Breen from Skibbereen on for her 12th cap.
Use the ball.
And even with all those pack changes, that scrum is still rock solid for Ireland. Here is Mulhall, shadowed all the way across the pitch by Manuela Furlan. Quick ball from Dane again. Flood gets it away to Higgins. Has that uncoachable ability, Eve Higgins, to be able to step and find spaces. Dane. Now Cronin. Looking for a little gap. Flood. Kick dropped over the head of Sophia Stefan.
Again, just clever play, picking out where the space is, playing the game in the right positions of pitch, which they were guilty of not doing in the first 2 games, and just better game management from Ireland.
Well, the aim at the outset of the season for Greg McWilliams was to win the 3 home games, but we saw Wales, an entirely different proposition to what they've been in previous years. Came up with a big result at the RDS, having gone 3 years without a Six Nations win. And then after defeat in Toulouse, well, there was always eyes on this game for Ireland and what they could produce here in Cork. The Italians under pressure.
No, drop off. It's you. No.
I think Ireland asking was that one carried or played back in by the Italians, but it's going to be a dropout for Sarah Barretton.
1.
So Linda Njungang, she will get a rest, and on comes Chloe Pearce. Another huge shift from Linda Njungang.
Yeah, you can just see that wind is picking up even stronger now. Chloe Pearce was huge in the interpros for Munster, particularly around the park. It's probably her scrummaging that has let her down on occasions, just a little bit too high, but something she's worked on and she continues to work on.
Nia Briggs would have had a very close eye on her down there. On a day when the Italians were hoping to finally get their attack functioning. This is the 3rd game, and so far all they have to show is 3 penalties, 2 from Solari against France, and 1 today from Beatrice Rigoni. Really, that England defence they faced the last weekend, so aggressive. England missed just 4 tackles all game in Parma. When you've got numbers like that, it's very disheartening and dispiriting. And as mentioned, they had the COVID issue in the last few days to deal with as well. It's been a tough day all round for them. But here goes Dinka and hit the line at pace. Brilliantly timed run from the outside centre. It looks like they've coughed up possession here, Italy. Dinka showing in that moment what she's capable of. wasn't set to start today, but Michaela Solari, one of those ruled out this week. Good break here from Magatti, slaloming in field. Awkward for Rigoni. He's going to come under pressure here.
Yeah, Italy just do such great work at times. That line by Dinka, that weighted pass was outstanding. Make such gain line carries, such yardage for a knock on, and just give Ireland that impetus to get back down the pitch.
Time off.
Brilliant line by her. Just a bit of confusion between Enya Breen and Eve Higgins there. Great chase back from Higgins though. Work off the ball, always hungry, looking for work.
A beautifully balanced, upright runner, Dinka. Just her 7th cap at the age of 20. And Nicole Cronin requiring some attention. 2007 was the last time that Ireland failed to win any of their opening 2 fixtures. They lost their 3rd that year as well against England. So this was always going to be, as we said in the circumstances, a very big fixture for Greg McWilliams. And he was speaking ahead of the game, you know, what it would mean. You're trying to get the processes right, you're getting a good environment around the camp as well, but you want tangible reward as well, and it looks like they will get that today in terms of the win.
Yeah, look, these 2 teams are on different paths. This is an Italian team going to a World Cup, huge experience. I imagine they will have loads of retirements after the World Cup. This is a new, fresh Irish side that we said this year have a year of grace almost, but they still want results, and they still need results to keep this big public support from them and the crowds to come out and watch them play.
Cronin back to full fitness. Into the line comes Enya Breen. Dane.
Holding on.
Holding on. And the Italians with the respite of a penalty. They're going to have Canada, the US and Japan in their World Cup group. Later in the year, Italy, having won all 3 of their World Cup qualifiers on home soil in Parma back in September. So certainly a big year, and as you said, great reward as well for those vastly experienced players that they'll have a World Cup at the end of this year.
Yeah, as I said, they've been in the game a long time, and you know, Ireland beat them in that qualifier, but they won their other 2 games.
Time
and
off. TMO review.
Yeah, like, the World Cup is more forgiving, I suppose, because there's quarterfinals this time around, so it's
I would
not
like
about.
to show you a dangerous clean out on the previous wreck.
Yeah, you check.
TMO,
Green,
Eric
number
Gozan has got
20.
involved here.
Yeah, a dangerous clean up by Green. Okay.
It looks like it's going to be going against Ireland.
Tell me when you're on position.
I'm ready.
Now, what is the TMO scene here?
Unless it was the seatbelt tackle.
And the 2 in there were Aoife Wafer and Chloe Pierce. And that is Chloe Pierce just left a picture.
Unless he's looking at some sort of roll by Aoife Wafer, crocodile roll, but it's.
Yes.
Already I show you all the angles.
Yeah, for me, the position of the blue is elle est déjà penchée vers l'avant. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but she lifts the leg.
Yes.
For me,
Lifting the legs.
yeah.
So it's dangerous. There's no speed.
Yes. For me, it's yellow. Are you agree?
I agree.
Yes. The number, sorry? 18?
Number 20.
Aoife Wafer.
Green. 20 green. Dangerous clean out.
So it's the same position of the penalty. So you replay for the line out in the same place. Yeah, captain.
Yeah.
It's a dangerous clean out because she lifts the player on the rack. Yes, it's a number 20.
And was there a high tackle before that in the entry?
No,
Just
no,
not
no,
for you? I
no.
thought it was
20?
Great.
20?
Great. I asked. It's them. Hold on.
20.
For me.
20 is behind you.
Hold on. 20.
Where is 20?
Okay. Aoife. Sorry.
Hannah O'Connor thought it might have been Brittany Hogan in trouble, but it's Aoife Wafer, who on her debut has been sin bins.
It's this. Yeah. Yeah. We have a medical of the field. Sorry. 1 second. Yeah. Time on.
So Ireland down to 14. We saw the Italians in a similar position late in the first half and into the second when Elisa Giordano was yellow carded. 10 minutes will mean that Aoife Wafer will get back on for the closing stages, but for now Ireland with 14. Maybe an opportunity for the Italians to mount some meaningful attack. Struggled to find field position in the Ireland half in this second period, Italy. Here is Dinka to Ostina Manuzzi.
No.
And a penalty, and it's the tap and go from Sarah Baratin.
No advantage, no 10.
Emma Hooben, the one who made the tackle, but Ireland not back 10. Quick thinking from Baratin.
Yeah, they have to play with that tempo and look to speed up the game. They're not getting much change from the set piece. Obviously, they will go for a line out here to get territory.
And a very good kick as well. Will land them inside the Ireland 22.
9. Sub.
And the final Ireland player off the bench is Aoibhinn Riley, the scrum half who started the first two. And Catherine Dane, a beaming smile as she makes way. Good outing for Catherine Dane.
Look, I think what she brings is that bit more experience, control around the breakdown, controlling that forward pack.
Sorry, just move
Really
here.
good outing for her on her first start of the season.
Numbers. 6. Time on.
Italy secure the line out and now look to get their own maul going. Ball in the hands of Bettoni and Baratan exhorting every bit out of that pack.
Same ball. Advantage collapsing.
Ireland have collapsed it, Italy advantage. They've got to get the ball out of there first. Baratan can see it now. Tunasi, first receiver. Big hit from Edel McMahon.
Good contest.
Baratan got him to go again.
Collapsing.
And Rigoni just dabs this one into touch. They'll look to attack off the line out here, Italy, and get their first try of this year's Six Nations Championship. Inside the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see whether Ireland can test here or they'll just look to stop that Italian maul. Obviously in the Welsh game they were in between two minds whether contest or stay down. It looks like they're going to stay down and just hit here.
That's what the body shape suggests. You could see Monaghan and O'Connor getting themselves set straight away, trying to get the shape right. Italy looking for that point of weakness. And they found it, and it's Bettoni who gets another try against Ireland. 3 years running now for the Italian hooker. And a well-worked set piece. Melissa Bettoni over for Italy's first try of this year's Six Nations.
Again, good. That's a really good try from Italy. Ireland defended initially really well. They put a huge amount of weight in it. But they don't shore up that blind side, and she just shears off that little gap. You just see Chloe Pearce and Edel McMahon taking an Italian player out of that mould that creates the gap for Bettoni to go through.
Yeah, timed it beautifully, Melissa Bettoni. And once she went, no Irish cover there. And for the Italian fans in Cork, a moment to enjoy. This is not easy for Beatrice Rigoni. She's made good contact. Just didn't quite have the legs.
Yeah.
And that's a concession of that try, I guess, will just be an itch for Ireland to scratch now in the week to come.
Italy substitution, number 19, Alessia Marcotti, replaces number 4.
Well, the end of the afternoon for Sara Tonesi, who had a big outing. Italy's number 4. And she was replaced by Alessia Margotti, the 22-year-old on for her senior debut. Magatti brings Italy out of their 22. Here is Rigoni. Floats it into the try scorer, Bettoni. Ireland still with 14, and Italy fancy if they can get down the pitch, there might be another score in this for them. Before we reach the 80 minutes, Rigoni, lovely pass back on the inside. Sofia Stefan in support.
Back.
Not very happy that one's gone backwards. Here's Elisa Giordano, met by her upset number Hannah O'Connor. That looked high from Sam Monaghan. And Baratin taps and goes again.
Yeah, it's keeping that tempo, high tackle, seatbelt tackle from Sam Monaghan there, but Italy just need to see out the last 6 minutes and playing with ball in hand, and as they say that, they turn it over.
Stop it!
And Brittany Hogan gets it away to Mulhall, who kicks ahead, and that is very dispiriting for the Italians.
Yeah, Ricconi just brilliant things at times, but Avon Riley just timed that so well. And then Mulhall spots the space in behind.
Well, it was Lucy Mulhall's try. 21 minutes into the game, they got Ireland up and running. After Rigoni had kicked the early penalty for Italy, then Amelie Murphy-Crowe, controversially, we feel at least, with that try disallowed just after the half hour. But Niamh Jones, 5 minutes before the break. Ireland 10-3 at half-time. Then Higgins and the penalty try in the second half. Ireland with the bonus points wrapped up. Slow ball for Baratin. Rigoni, lovely hands again from Beatrice Rigoni. An international for Italy since the age of 18. Still looking to run it and find those holes, but they've knocked it on here. Ireland advantage. And Riley surveying her options. Flood has turned the Italian defence again. It's another superb kick. But Stefan took a chance there in palming it back in field. Aoife Doyle was a hair's breadth away from getting her hands on that and running it in for another Ireland try. Rigoni, lovely little dummy, charged down though by Enya Breen, and Italy under pressure again right on their try line.
No hand.
Well, they're so ambitious, maybe overly ambitious at times, Italy. It's a lovely little step initially from Rigoni, but then the pressure came from Breen. And still looking to find an exit here, and now they do. Well, Fiona, let's get your player of the match then.
Yeah, look, I think there's been some excellent performances from Ireland. Stacey Flood, in particular, looking probe in behind with that left boot. But my TikTok player of the match is second row Sam Monaghan. I think she's a hugely abrasive player, really took it to the Italians in the first half, and her scrummaging was outstanding throughout. So today's TikTok player of the match is Ireland's Sam Monaghan.
Yeah, she has been standout for the 3 games so far. Sam Monaghan, Fiona Coughlin's choice, as the TikTok Women's Six Nations player of the match. Always nice to win that award in victory. Oh, and there's going to be a try here. Lovely piece of opportunism from Katie O'Dwyer, and look how Ireland celebrate this one. Everyone in on this.
Really well read by Katie O'Dwyer. Very opportunistic, as you said. Bouncing ball, she claimed it. Well up, pressure from Brittany Hogan in front. Just that catch and pivot, ballerina-esque.
Oh, that is outstanding piece of handling from Katie O'Dwyer. Might have been disappointed not to start today, having started the opening 2 games. But she has come on in this second half, and that is a moment that will live with her for a long, long time. Plucked it out of the hands of Alessia Margotti.
Great
and over for the try.
Sorry, great pressure in the line out though from Brittany Hogan to get up, and just Italy fumbled that ball that it's loose then for Katie O'Dwyer to come on to, but she had tough work to do.
Oh, Nicole Cronin, the crowd thought that was over, just drifted at the last minute. 5 tries as we head towards full time, and that's a very healthy looking scoreboard for Ireland.
Ladies and gentlemen, today's TikTok player of the match.
Leap away for back on. Sounds like a popular choice from the fan reaction. Sam Monaghan, man of the match, or player of the match rather. What will this win, Fiona, do you think do for the team now? As we said, it's the biggest challenge in world rugby at the moment, facing them at Welford Road next week. Yeah,
look, they know what they're going to be up against going to England. There'll be areas that they'll focus on specifically going into that English game. And as we said, going to France, Ireland have never beaten England in England, so it's going to be about that performance and trying to just improve on the things.
Outside.
Looking for more of that scrum to improve again, looking for that set piece. It's going to be a tougher task against England next week, but we know how exciting they can be if they get their ball in hand and looking to run the ball.
And just a reminder, the Sevens players set to depart, so we will see new faces into the starting 15 next week. For Greg McWilliams, what would be the big positives for him today?
I think it's the improvement in their set piece from week 1 from that Welsh game. Defence at times. Sorry, but that's a huge turnover for Aoife Wafer coming back in off that yellow card. And just kind of cohesiveness. And they didn't go down. They didn't get their head down after that performance against France. Because let's face it, it wasn't a good performance in any aspect of the game. So just to bounce back from that with again very little time. Here we see Wafer. She's a tackle assist. She releases. Low body position and really hard for those 2 Italian players to move her.
And that's how you respond to a sin binning. You come on and you make your mark in the 2 minutes or so that she had remaining on the pitch. Aoife Wafer.
Set.
For the Italians, incidentally, it will be Scotland in Parma next, and they'll feel they can pick themselves up maybe from this and get the win that they were chasing today, that maybe that might come for them next week. And they will finish in Cardiff against Wales, Italy. Ireland, as mentioned, Welford Road against the English. Scotland at Kingspan Stadium up in Belfast. And they'll enjoy this victory after the opening 2 defeats. And particularly enjoy it with 5 tries in the bag as well, and all different sorts of tries as well. There was pressure on this fixture. You talk about pressure at the top, England and France. That will all be decided from match day 5 in Bayonne. But pressure at the bottom as well, 2 sides that hadn't a victory to their name coming into this one. It's Ireland who've come out victorious.
And worthy winners today. You know, they dominated set piece, they dominated possession and territory. Just played a really clever game. Italy at times tried to force it. Obviously, the lead into it was horrible for Italy, losing players to COVID, you know, having to change their starting team, just things not going their way, and then put themselves under a huge amount of pressure in the first half, not using the win to their advantage. But all credit to Ireland, brilliant performance and well-deserved winners.
So that is it. Ireland have the victory at Musgrave Park in Cork. 5 tries in the bag as well. It is finished. Ireland 29, Italy 8. Well, smiles on the faces of the Ireland players. For Italy, they'll have to dust themselves down, go again, as we said, next week against Scotland. But tangible reward was something Greg McWilliams was looking for, the work they've been putting in on the training pitch, and they've got it today.
Yeah, Greg talks a lot about processes and not the result at the end of the day, but this result will be huge for them, huge for the camp going forward into that final game, particularly against Scotland. And they're travelling with a bigger squad. You have the likes of Michelle Claffey there, Maeve O'Leary in that extended squad of travelling. They get a huge amount from this being involved, that they'll probably look to be involved in that England game and the Scotland game going forward. But yeah, they'll be delighted with the result. The crowd here have been outstanding, delighted with the result as well, and it just keeps that positive momentum going forward.
And just looking down below as well as Ireland celebrate the victory. Niamh Briggs is right there, big part of the coaching staff as well. And she's very much enjoyed this victory today as well. But Fiona Coughlin's choice as the TikTok Women's Six Nations Player of the Match was Sam Monaghan. And we can hear from her now.
Sam, congratulations, you are the TikTok Women's Six Nations Player of the Match, and with your award we're joined by TikTok creator Rugby with Amy. Sam, congratulations. Massive, any day you win in an Irish jersey is a good day, but I would imagine in light of all the work that's gone on in recent weeks there must be an awful lot of relief as well.
Yeah, look, I mean, the last 3 weeks have been tough, and I don't think we played the rugby that we thought we could play. And it's been a tough couple of weeks, and we looked at ourselves and really did the hard work this week and knew we could, you know, really just put a show for this fantastic crowd. Like, we've had the support the last couple of weeks, and we just wanted to do it for everyone here, especially for all the Munster girls. They're delighted to have a win down here. It's just so special. It means so much to all of us.
As a squad, you've had to endure very difficult times, but you've never lost sight of the fact that this support is here, and you knew you were going to get a rugby mad Cork support today to cheer you on.
Yeah, I mean, even since we set foot in Cork, everyone's been so nice. The hotel, we went for coffee, everyone's been so supportive, especially the last couple of weeks. We've had a tough few weeks, and I think everyone backed us, and we just wanted to show them today that we could do the country proud.
And that is as much satisfaction as the victory, that the areas that you wanted to improve upon last week, you must be really, really proud and happy with the performance and elements of the performance today.
Yeah, look, I'm proud. You know, some of them, you know, the backs, Amy Lee, I thought she deserved this today, and some of the other girls, they put on a fantastic performance. We still have a lot to work on, like England in 2 weeks. You know, it's going to be a big week this week. We're going to analysis and build on the mistakes we made and drive even further.
But how important can it be for this squad to get a victory like that, get a win in the ledger, and use this now as a springboard to justify all the work that's gone on in recent weeks?
Yeah, I mean, this is just the start. This is momentum building now, and we'll work on from here. And this is just the first step of the rest of our journey. We're really excited for the next couple of weeks and make a big stamp on the rest of the Six Nations.
Congratulations on the victory. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, another monstrous performance from Sam Monaghan in that Ireland pack, and she was doing well there to hear the questions of Damien O'Mara. She's got a big following down there. She enjoyed it, and Ireland now going to take the acclaim of the support here. Maybe it is there is something to the Musgrave Park factor. We saw how big it was for the Ireland men's under-20s in recent years.
Look, I think it's been a good decision to move it around the country, have it in Dublin first, then down here, and then up to Ravenhill. And it's just fans, like, it's a brilliant day out for young kids aspiring to their role models out there on the pitch, and that's huge. You know, you see the following on social media, and it's just huge for these squads.
A lovely moment for Enya Breen, but I think we can now head back down to Damien here from the Ireland captain, Nicola Friday.
Nicola, congratulations. Great to get a win on the board, but a really much improved performance which will bring great satisfaction as well.
Yeah, look, I'm immensely proud of the girls and the work they did out in that pitch today. Like, we knew that this was what we could play like if we could just get certain things right, like exiting and playing in the areas of the pitches that we want, and the control of that game was so much more improved from previous games. Look, and I'm extremely proud of the girls for that.
Has that been almost the sole focus this week, just to try and improve on those areas that are within your own control?
Yeah, look, we took a hard look at our set piece, said that needed to have a big improvement, and we did. That was really well improved today, and then just playing in the right parts of the pitch, and like playing the kind of conditions as well. Like, we had a tough win against us in the first half, so just by playing smarter rugby, and that's what the girls did. They demonstrated that. Great to get a win in the column, and it's hopefully such a springboard of momentum for this squad now. Yeah, look, it's something that I think the girls deserved. It's been a tough 2 weeks, but I always knew that they had the talent within themselves to get this performance. And look, we have a tough 2 weeks. Now we have England and then Scotland, and it's going to be another huge battle for both games. So we're going to have to be twice as better for those 2 games. I know very often people might think we pay lip service to the support and the groundswell that's behind you, but we're here with a gale force wind blowing down on top of us, and there's hundreds of people here that want to spend time with this squad. And what does it mean to you as a group to know that, irrespective of what's gone on, there's so many people here who want to be part of this journey? It's amazing. It's lifted us in whenever we're in the toughest parts of the match, like to look up into the full crowds and see your family and see friends and see little girls and boys to have travelled to come and see us. Like, that's that's huge for us, and we just appreciate all of the support.
Enjoy the celebrations. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
You can feel the emotion coming from the Ireland captain, Nicola Friday. Her first win as Ireland captain.
Yeah, it's huge for her as well. And, you know, as she said, there's still huge areas that they need to improve on, but it's part of that journey, process and momentum. This is a really important step in the momentum at the start of a very young squad's journey with a new management, and this will be huge for them. Italy, on the flip side, you know, they were disrupted week in, but they're going to go back a week off now to get things right for their home game against Scotland, and that now is a huge and pivotal game for them.
And I think from an Ireland point of view, not just to win the game, which was important, but to win it the way they won it as well. We heard Nicola Friday saying how they played the conditions, particularly how they got the set piece right today, and all eyes were on that. But in particular, and also Stacey Flood's kicking game, how they managed the game, the conditions.
Yeah, that was something. Against France, they played in their own 22 too much. They didn't use the wind when they had it, whereas today we could see it, and we could see that left boot of Stacey probing, and she had confidence in the set piece, both from a defensive point of view and an attacking point of view, what her forwards could do and produce if she put them into the right positions. And, you know, credit to them. It's tough when you have a scrum going backwards to readjust for a week and get such a dominant performance against a good and experienced Italian pack.
Well, I think she's across to the far side of the pitch at the moment, signing autographs and taking photos. She's going to miss out on this team photo here, which is a lovely way to finish the day for these Ireland players. So for Ireland, it is the victory. Let's get the view of the Italian camp now. We can hear from the boss, and that is Andrea Di Giandomenico.
Andrea, not the result that you wanted. How do you reflect on the Italian performance?
No, we need a deep reflection on our performance, individual. It's embarrassing sometimes, so we need the restart with a new focus. Is not acceptable, this performance.
Are you angry with elements of the performance? Has this fallen below what you expected today?
Yeah, of course, but it's not. We don't looking for alibi or something. We know the work is the only way. So to start for next, we have to work, improve. It's the only way.
Is it a good thing that there is a break now, that it gives you time to refocus?
I don't see the good things where to restart. Of course, we need to restart from the mind, focus. We know the same player play a good rugby until 2-3 months ago, so we don't forget this. And we restart.
Good luck with the rest of the championship, and good luck with the rest of the year. Thank you very much.
Yeah, an understandably disappointed Italian camp. It is Ireland's day at Musgrave Park in Cork. They are up and running with their first win in this year's TikTok Women's Six Nations Championship. We leave you with the final score of Ireland 29, Italy 8. From all of us here at Musgrave Park, we bid you goodbye.